What's going on, people? It's your boy Kelechi back with another episode of the Rambling Mind Podcast. How are each and every single one of y'all doing today? I hope y'all are staying safe. I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. I hope y'all are doing all the things you know you ought to do during these times. Man, it's been a minute since I've hopped on the mic. I got busy. Some things happened. Your boy was a little bit under the weather. And so we didn't make a podcast last week. But we back. We back on the podcast game. And this episode, I want to talk about the 5 things that we all need to know when it comes to personal finance. Actually, in all honesty, the only 5 things that we all need to understand when it comes to personal finance. Money has become this complicated, convoluted thing. Why is it that way? Because there's a lot of interests that come when it comes to money. Who want to get in your pocket and get you to pay them for random stuff? But in all honesty, money comes down to one simple sentence. I love to say it so much, which is simply this: live on less than you make, invest and save the rest. That is all you need to know when it comes to money. But that also comes into a bunch of other things where it comes to how do you exactly live on less than you make. And then on the other side, how do we invest and save the rest? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode. So we're not even going to waste any time. Let's get right into it. So we start with the first part of that sentence, which is live on less than you make. How do we do that? How do we live that out? It's very simple. The first step of living on less than you make is know your numbers. What does that look like? It's simply like Ramit Sethi likes to say. He says, in order for you to be confident with your money, first you have to be competent about your money. In other words, do you know how much you're spending on a regular basis? Do you know where all your dollars are going? Do you know what the little holes are in your pocket? If you do not know these things, you are flying blind. It's like trying to go to a new destination without using Apple or Google Maps. Actually, don't use Apple Maps because Apple Maps sucks. But it's like trying to get to a destination of a place you've never been to before without a map, without Google, without navigation, without any of these things. And you're just like, you know what? We'll figure it out. Even men, when they were trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean, cross the Pacific Ocean to discover the new world, guess what they used? They at least had a compass. For a lot of us, when it comes to our money, we have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea where to look. We have no idea where our money is going. All we're doing is flying blind. We don't pay attention to what we spend our money on. We just keep on going with the same flow because it's a lot easier than actually facing the issues that are right before us. The most important things when it comes to living on less than you make is actually knowing your numbers. So how do we know our numbers? It's very simple. You take a day to sit down and figure out what exactly are all my bills, what are the things that I like to spend money on, and what are the things that I maybe need to cut back on, or maybe what do I need to figure out where my money is going? In other words, do I need to shop around for insurance? Do I need to shop around for new phone service? Do I need to shop around, or do I need to give up my car because the lease on my car payment is too high? Do I spend too much going out to eat? Am I partying every weekend? Do I shop too much? All of these different things, if you do not know how you're spending your money on a regular basis, you will never be able to progress when it comes to your dollars. You have to know how you are spending your money. So this way you can actually put a plan in place. And that leads us to the second thing, because part of knowing your numbers is staying away from bad debt. Because most of the times when we do not know our numbers, we use credit cards, we use loans, we use all these different things to ensure that we can fill that gap when we don't know our numbers. So what do we do most of the time? We just like, oh, you know what? I like points, so I'm going to use my credit card. But in reality, the reason why we use our credit cards is because my debit card and my bank account, I'm not exactly sure how that thing works right now. So in order for me to make sure that I can pay for everything that I want to pay for, I'm going to just use this credit card. But when you know your numbers, you will know when to use your credit card and when not to use your credit card. You will know how to go for loans and when not to go for loans. You won't be played in the streets by all these dudes, whether it's car salesmen, whether it's insurance salesmen, whether it's credit card companies, all these different things that are trying to get their hands in your pockets. When you know your numbers, you will understand the things that you can and the things that you can't do. And that leads us to point number 3, which is protect the downside. When I say protect the downside, what does that mean? It means have an emergency fund, because life sucks. There's a quote from Morgan Housel that I love to say a lot, which is save like a pessimist. Save like a pessimist, because we have no idea what tomorrow might bring. We have no idea if we could lose our job tomorrow. I mean, right now we're in a recession. Who knows what's going to happen? Are we in a recession? I don't know, but it feels like we're in a recession sometimes. Who knows what tomorrow might bring? A tree might fall on my house. I don't know. I may get into an accident tomorrow. I don't know. My car may have a flat tire. I don't know. My phone may break. I don't know. My computer may crash. I don't know. Things can happen. Everyone believes that, oh, you know what? Because the life looks good right now, everything's going to stay that way. No. Things most of the time will go awry. That's how life works. Most of the time we think that 1 in a million situations only happen 1 in a million situations. But the problem is when we face 1 in a million situation in so many different parts of our lives, it means that sooner or later something is going to happen. In other words, we have to be willing to protect the downside. What does that mean? Have an emergency fund. I recommend for most people at least have your deductible covered. What do I mean? If you have car insurance, for example, what is the deductible on your car insurance? Is it $250? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Is it $2,000? Whatever that amount is, save that amount. If you own a home, what is the deductible on your house? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? Is it $20,000? At least have a minimum of that amount saved up. For most people, it's going to be about $5,000. When it comes to car insurance, for most people, if you're not the type to shop around and you're not the type to edit your insurance, it's probably going to be about $250. Your health insurance, if you're not in the high deductible health plan, what is your minimum amount before your health insurance kicks in? Have that saved up. I also say, like, once you get to a point, you should have at least 3 months of your expenses saved up. And when I say expenses, I mean the minimum for you to survive. Thinking about your water bill, power bill, those kind of things that you absolutely need, or else things will just go awry. Those are the things you need to save up. So for example, if your total payment from that standpoint is about $1,000, you need at least $3,000. If you want to be a bit more conservative, for example, for those of y'all who have a family, have at least 6 times that. In other words, if it's $1,000 a month, you should have $6,000 saved up in a bank account somewhere. And do not touch it. This is for emergencies. This is for if your water heater goes out in your house. This is for if your air conditioning goes out in your house. This is for if your car has a breakdown of some sort. That is where this money comes from. In other words, protect the downside. But that quote that I mentioned from Morgan Housel earlier has a second part to it, which is save like a pessimist, but invest like an optimist. What do I mean? Just because we think things are going to get bad, but in reality, most of the times, things get better over time. In other words, things improve over time. Most of the time when you listen to the news, the only thing you're going to think about is like, oh, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. You would think like everything is just wrong. Everything is wrong. But when you look at things on a grander scale, when you look at the way that we've improved, where we have the power of the entire computer force that was able to take a rocket, send a man to the moon, is on our phones, and we can have it at any point in time right out of our pocket. We have the information that is greater than the Alexandria Library. We have all of that in the pocket of our hands, or in just right here in our hands at any point we want. Things get better over time. Is it going to be better all the time? No, but it does get better slowly and surely. And so in order for you to feed into things getting better, it means we have to invest. And when it comes to investing, all you need to know about investing is one thing: low cost index funds. That's all you need to know and all you need to understand. And for most of us, if you're young like me, for most of us, all we need to understand for right now is target date index funds. That's it. You can go look this up online, read a little bit more about it up, and then you can invest in it. All you need to do is go on Google, figure out wherever you're investing your money in, if it's with Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, any of these platforms. Go on Google, type in Fidelity target date index funds, search it like that, and all you're looking for is low fees, nothing more than 0.2%, nothing more than 0.2% should you be investing in. Keep your fees as low as possible. It's just like when we're paying for anything else. When I'm paying my cell phone bill, I don't want the fees to be high. When I'm paying my insurance, I don't want that bill to be high. This is why we shop around. It's the same way when it comes to investing. If you keep your fees low and you do not do anything to it, you just let that thing compound in the background. And when I say compound, all I mean is let it grow in the background for you. As long as you do that, you will be fine when it comes to investing. You don't need anything complicated. You don't need to be the next Warren Buffett. You don't need to do any of these things. All you need to do is work your job and just incrementally save. At least 10% is a good starting point for those who can actually afford it. If you're paying off debt, you probably just want to do your company match if you have a 401k. Otherwise, for most of us, if you can do $6,000 a year, which is about $500 a month, For those of y'all who are single and can afford to do that, do at least that much so you can at least save up. Even if you can't do that much, start off with like $100 a month. If you can't even do $100 at once, start off with $50 a month. And then as you make more money, as your interest grows, as you pay off debts, increase that amount over time and make it larger and larger and larger and larger as you go. It doesn't have to stay the same way for the next 50 years. Increase that amount as you go. And then finally, the fifth one, when it comes to personal finance, is simply this. You work too damn hard for you not to enjoy your money. So take some of it and enjoy it. But at the same time, also give. Enjoy and give. Enjoy and give. But these are the 5 things that you need to know when it comes to personal finance. 1, know your numbers. Understand how you are spending your money. 2, stay out of bad debt. 3, protect the downside. Have that emergency fund in place. 4, invest in low-cost index funds. And 5, enjoy and give. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all in this one. I hope y'all learned 1, maybe 2 things out of this entire thing. And if you did, share this podcast with one person that you love, one person that you hate, and one person you're just kind of like about. And by that time, you would have shared it with every single person that you know. But anyways, being your boy Kelechi, I'm going to catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. And if you have any questions about this, hit me up on social media. But anyway, I'm going to catch y'all up on the next one. Peace. Whoosh.